So glad to have you all here with us this evening. My name is John Bartlow, and I'm the Director of Alumni and Constituent Relations here at the university. And got to tell you, we would rather be with you in person, but this is a heck of a lot better than not being able to see you or talk to you at all. So we're finding some different types of ways to connect with our alumni, and certainly one of the ideas that we had early on was to have virtual girly gatherings focusing on different topics. And I'm lucky enough to be in the same division with Mindy. And so I hear often about the things that are going on in her office and the different endeavors that they're trying to tackle. And Mindy is probably more than anyone, has had to make lots of adjustments this year to the types of events that she does. The things that Mindy's office does, the things that my office does, they just don't work so well during pandemics. And so I'm sure Mindy will talk a little bit about that this evening as well. But many of you know Mindy Cloninger, and some of you may just be meeting her for the first time this evening. But Mindy is the Director of Career Services here at Pittsburg State. She's been in that role since about 2007, if my memory serves me correctly, and I always have to say I'm back on this campus as of 2005 because Mindy pulled me out of Minnesota and got me back here and hired me in the alumni office when she was alumni director. So forever grateful for that, Mindy, and even better that we continue to get to work together. So thank you for being on this evening. So I think there's certainly going to be opportunities to ask questions throughout the evening. If you would like to use the chat function on Zoom, you can type a question into chat, and then we can ask Mindy that question when we're wrapped up. But I know Mindy and I were chatting this afternoon. She's pretty flexible. I think if you have a question, the campus police are walking by my office right now.
Oh, no.
She says it's too late. I should be working. I shouldn't be here.
Thank you for dropping off.
But what I was saying is that Mindy's flexible, and I bet if you wanted to ask a question right when it popped into your head, you could. So we're going to start things off by showing a video that highlights the awesome facilities and some of the things that the Office of Career Services does. And so I'll share the screen, and then I'll hand it back to Mindy. If you don't mind, if you haven't already, muting your microphone during the presentation. That way we don't have any feedback or barking dogs or any of those sorts of things in the background. So I'm going to go ahead and share my screen, and we'll start off with this video.
Hi, my name is Dwarkesh, and I'm a peer advisor at the Career Resource Center here in Horseman. So come on, I'll show you where it's located. Once in the building, you'll go up these stairs. Here we are. To the left are on-campus interview rooms with tables designed and crafted by PSU Wood Technology students and sponsored by companies like Coke, Empix, Caterpillar, Walmart, Kiewit, Modine, and at the end of the hall, a hospitality room sponsored by Fastno. Heather Bush is the Employer Relations Coordinator who connects students with employees through opportunities in Gorillas for Hire and aids students with internship searches. Our tour takes us back to the hallway where we will enter into the Student Employment Office. Are you looking for a campus job? Or maybe trying to choose your major or decide on a career? Kim Ho is the Assistant Director for Career Development and Student Employment. Kim and our Director Mindy offer career counseling, career exploration classes, as well as several types of assessments to aid you in your career path. You can definitely make an appointment to talk about your career options. And there's no charge. Through this small hallway is the PHILLIPS 66 Career Resource Center, where I work. peer advisors like myself are available here from 8 a.m. to 4:30 p.m. Monday through Friday to help you with your resume, cover letter, or even start it from scratch. So, beginning with a college resume that can be updated periodically. It is great to start your future and is my favorite part about working for career services. You can spend time here working on your resume or drop it off for a review and pick it up in a day or two. Ginny Parker manages the Career Resource Center. She strives to provide you with materials and assistance to explore career possibilities and to find, apply, and interview for jobs successfully. Here are just a few types of resources on our shelves. Many are available online too. Career choices, resume writing, grad school entrance exam guides, scholarship guides, and how-tos for the job search process, internship vacancy listings, and even dining etiquette, and tips on how to tie a tie. And of course, we have lots of company information. The Career Services website has tons of information and examples of resumes, cover letters, interview questions, thank you notes, and much more. Looking for an on or off-campus job, part-time job, now or later, whenever you're interested to finding an internship or a full-time position before graduation. We work with employers to provide you choices through Gorillas for Hire, vacancy listings, and networking events like Fall Career Expo and Spring Career Day. At the Peer Advisor desk, we post thousands of jobs into Gorillas for Hire, which is powered by Handshake. And now we are excited to announce that we are available to assist students with their career services questions on live chat. Live chat is easy to find on both PSU website and the Career Services homepage. Jump on live chat and ask us anything career services or job related, and we'll get you answers or point you in the right direction. Okay, so you get the idea. Email, call, live chat, or book an appointment through Gorillas for Hire. We are here to help you to transform you from a student to a professional.
Okay. So that gives you a bit of an overview about some of the many things that the Office of Career Services does, but Mindy has a lot more to share, so I'm going to go ahead and turn the floor over to her. I think you're muted, Mindy.
Well, you told us to mute, and I did.
I know.
Yeah. Oh, thank you. Thank you, John. Nice to be with you all. Nice to see several of my family. So thank you guys. This is great because I don't get to see you. We don't get to see each other. I'm going to share my screen here in just a moment, but and so I got this bright red in case you wonder why I turned red. I promise I'm not embarrassed or whatever. I might be eventually. But we're really proud of that. In fact, I'll just go ahead and do that. And when I do this, then I'm going to turn blue for some reason. So John and I kind of practiced all this earlier. So yeah, so now I'm kind of red and blue. It's fun. All right, can you guys see my screen?
Yes.
Like the PowerPoint? Fabulous. So we are, I'm just so proud of Dorkesh, who emceed that video. He's a peer advisor that works in our office from India. And we quickly saw that we were going to need some videos to show to classrooms where we would typically go out and do classroom presentations ourselves, and began to put that together. And so I went to him and asked him if he would want to narrate that. And he said, well, I don't know about that, you know, and then I kind of described it and said, you know, you wouldn't be on the camera the whole time. And then pretty soon he said, you know, I think that I should try that. I think I should try that. And I mean, we scripted it obviously, but we didn't rehearse him at all in terms of, and he just nailed it. He just like got it, you know. So we're so proud of him, and it's really fun to be able to give students opportunities. You know, we would never have anticipated that we would be giving a student an opportunity to narrate a video. We have another video These are professionally produced by our PSU videographer. We have 3 that he helped us do. Aaron Thompson, he's amazing. He did the Veterans Memorial one with John. Andrew, if you saw that on Veterans Day. And so we had another student, Hayden Foster, narrated, emceed that one. And so it's been really fun to spotlight students that way. And all the students that you saw in the video work for us. So we tried to make sure between the 3 videos that all of our students were in the video in some fashion. So kind of fun. I'll tell you a little bit more about that in a moment. I'll go ahead and get myself to not be red anymore. Okay. How about now? There we go. So our goal as we go in and present to classes and show them our PowerPoint, this is where we always start with them, is this slide, and talk about our goal is to help them transition from student to professional. That's really what career services is about. I also tell them they don't necessarily need to plan on getting taller. I'm not sure why the person in this, but anyway, I always tell them that. Not that we can't help you get taller if that's your goal.
You'll feel
but
taller.
You'll feel taller.
Confidence.
That's right. See, I think that it's just sort of that, yes. And then by the time you're the last guy, you're just feeling like, you own the world. So we really work to help students learn how to do that. Well, in the age of COVID, there's a lot of new things to learn about that as well. So we'll talk about that. First of all, I wanted to spotlight our staff. Like John said, we have a number of things that go on in career services, and it's this whole crew that makes it happen. I'll start with the group in the left-hand corner that are all masked up. These are our student employees. They're not all in this picture, but this was just taken on Monday of this week. We had our Christmas party because they're all going home tomorrow, and students will leave campus tomorrow. Next week will be fall break all week, and then they will not return. They'll have dead week and finals week all online. The last 2 weeks of the semester will be open, of course, but they'll be gone. So we will really miss them. In the upper right-hand corner of that little collage is Brittany. She's our grad assistant, and the rest are students. That's not all of our student employees. It was during the day, and so they came and went. But we did a Christmas party and the student center and a great big room and spread out and masked up, and it was really fun to do that. We have 2 students that are graduating tomorrow and leaving us, so we really wanted to be able to congratulate them and send them on and wish them well. And we always have a little ceremony that we do for them. Then obviously I'm the director. Kim Hull is our assistant director. She is a career counselor. I am a career counselor as well, but Kim does the heavy lifting for sure. And she does a lot of one-on-one meetings. Of course, right now they're virtual with students, also with alumni. Anybody that's interested in talking about a different career direction or how to job search or those sorts of things. Of course, those are always confidential conversations, but if you know someone that's wanting, to do some job seeking and they're wondering about our services, they are available to alumni. No fee for that. So Kim does all of that. She and I each teach a section of career exploration, which is a course designed to take students through the career development decision-making process. So we do a lot of assessments and all kinds of activities. It's throughout the semester. She also is our student employment coordinator for campus. So all of the student positions, clerical positions, working in food service or the grounds or intramurals and all of the types of things that students do on campus, she basically coordinates the HR kind of paperwork aspect of that. And she does a lot of other things too, obviously, as assistant director. Heather Bush is our employer relations coordinator, and that just is what it sounds like. So she is our frontline person with employers and gets them connected with Girl List for Hire to post positions and schedules them to come to campus to do on-campus interviews, info sessions, in classrooms, all sorts of things. And then obviously the career fairs as well, which we work on as a team. So again, not doing all of those things right now, but in person, but we're doing them virtually. So Heather coordinates that. She's also a technology wizard, thank goodness. The Lord knew that I was going to need somebody like that on my staff, and there she is. And she and Kim, and really they all are, but she has a natural knack for that, and it's a really good thing. Janice Parker is our administrative associate, basically manages the Career Resource Center. She oversees our peer advisors and trains them to review resumes, and she also reviews resumes and does a lot of stuff in there. Really proud of Janice. She is graduating on Saturday with her bachelor degree from Pitt State. She has been working on her bachelor degree for 16 years. So we're pretty sure she's set a record for an employee working toward their degree, but just take it in class one semester at a time, and one class, one semester, maybe two. There toward the end, she started ramping up, and it got pretty intense. But for the whole time I've been in career services, she's been taking classes, and I always said I was going to put a tent out in my side yard and get John Bartlow's band to play for the graduation party, or I won't be doing that. So she did actually graduate in May, and so we set up a little photo shoot for her in her cap and gown, and you may have read about her in the Pitt State magazine, the issue that just came out. So we kind of made some of that stuff happen to help celebrate that amazing achievement. Really, really proud of Janice. And so she will walk in commencement on Saturday morning, and then we're just going to go to lunch, and we're excited about that. And then Olivia is our newest staff member, and she is our admin, and she basically really runs the show, and she is a sweetheart, does all our financials and that type of thing. And then, like I said, all of us coordinate the career fairs, etc. So it takes the team, just they're a fabulous group of collaborators. Really took it all on when we went home in March, and I'm very proud of this group. This is our Career Resource Center. We call it the CRC. It is the Phillips 66 Career Resource Center. And we were very pleased when Phillips came to us a few years ago and asked if they could be our premier sponsor. And of course we said yes, absolutely. And so we renovated this space. In the video, you saw the wall of resources, which is on the other side of the room from this picture that you're seeing. But where you see the red walls in the picture, there actually used to be 10 bookcases there, 6 and 4. It was really a library, when Horace Mann was renovated and moved into in 2000. It was the Career Resource Library. And that was pretty cool. I kind of love libraries, but that ran its course and everything began to be online. And so when Phillips came on board, we knew it was time to make it more of a workspace and presentation space. I mentioned that the video we show to classes, we designed it primarily to show to all of the freshmen. So it's a class called Gorilla Gateway, and it's a semester-long class that all freshmen are required to take. And so they come through all fall long. They come through the Resource Center, and anywhere from 850 to 1,000 freshmen, and we're able to orient them to career services. And obviously it's really nice to have them there. Well, we can't do that this year, so that's why we made that video tour and showed that to all of those classes. It does say down here, walk-ins welcome. Not true right now, but typically they can walk in 8 to 4:30 Monday through Friday. Larger universities, I met with some of my colleagues today virtually, of course, they have what they call drop-in days or drop-in hours, but we are drop-in 8 to 4:30 Monday through Friday, and the peer advisor students make that possible for us. And here's a picture of a peer advisor a couple of years ago, helping a student review that. So some of these slides are from our class presentation, so I just kind of leave them up for you all to see and enjoy. So we encourage students to either come in and sit at the counter and at a machine and start from scratch if they've never done a resume, or they can just drop by to have it looked at and all those sorts of things. So now we have virtual appointments, immediately transition to virtual appointments. And we have a button on our webpage that says that virtual appointment, and a student can very easily sign up to have their resume reviewed that way. We also have live chat that we added to our website, and so students can just get on live chat, type and ask any question about anything. And usually what we're going to say is you probably need to set up a virtual appointment and talk with us, either for career counseling or resume review, or something like that. This is a list of services that we always show when we go into classrooms. We just kind of call this the laundry list of our services, and then we always go into more detail when we present that. I won't do that tonight, but just wanted you to see and have an idea of the main services that we provide. And I've already mentioned several of those. We immediately transitioned when we went home in March. We went home, everybody went home. We moved our equipment on a Friday, and we kind of regrouped on Monday, and Tuesday we started offering virtual services. I mean, we did not go down for very long in career services. So we were able to do resume review, career counseling, immediately, and that seemed to be what students needed at that point. The only thing we can't do, we haven't quite figured out how to safely do, is our career clothes closet, which is really tough because we're really proud of it. It's a unique service. Not every university offers that by any stretch. We were one of the first in the state of Kansas to offer that, and so it's hard, but you can imagine with students trying clothes on and off, and people donating, and we don't know where they're coming from, and we don't have any laundering services, obviously, in Horace Mann. So we will figure out a way to do that at some point, but we had a lot of other stuff to figure out first. So so everything else we were pretty much able to do. Of course, Girl is for Hire, that's where we post all of the positions. It's always been virtual. It's an online job posting board. To the right there where you see Gus, that's, you see a little computer icon, and so that's what the screen looks like. And now on the left-hand side tells you some of the things that we do in Gorillas for Hire. So it's more than just a job board. It includes ways to sign up for interviews. Now for virtual career fairs, sign up for them there. Employers can get on Gorillas for Hire and look for resumes. Of course, they have to have PIN numbers to be in there, and we set all of that up with them. People can't just get in and start perusing resumes. And then we do provide resume referral packets to employers. So if they want to contact us and give us kind of the parameters to query, if it's a GPA major, of course, a May grad or a December grad or both, and those types of things, then we can run that query and email as a bundle those resumes to that employer. So that's a resume referral. So there are things in Gorillas for Hire for students, and there are things in Gorillas for Hire for employers. You see in the little oval there at the bottom, it says Handshake, and there is an app that, again, students and employers can download, have Handshake on their phones on the app. Handshake is the name of the platform, but we like to call it Gorillas for Hire. So it goes by both names. We do post every single position that we get. All on-campus positions are required to be posted there by our President's Council. So students don't have to go from building to building and bulletin board to bulletin board. They can see what is available on campus. We post internships, off-campus, part-time, full-time jobs, all of that sort of thing. So stuff that's in Pittsburgh, the region, across the country. We go to websites and look for things. We have our standard companies that we research and continue to post, but of course, lots of new ones coming in at all times. Handshake is a national network, and so if an employer says, I want to post at this school, they also get a drop-down menu that says, do you want to post at all the schools for Handshake? And they'll say, sure. So they've never heard of Pitt State, but they can post it with us. So that has really expanded the tens of thousands of jobs that are in Handshake. So we love to be able to offer our students far more options, and options nationwide. We added the freelance a couple of years ago because more and more students can do things like, build social media, build websites, a lot of photography kinds of opportunities, all sorts of things. So we do have the freelance postings as well. So a ton of stuff goes on in Gorillas for Hire. We offer them, yes, you got a question?
Can I ask you a question real quick?
Do it, and then I can get a drink of water.
These are a couple questions that came through
Great.
that are relevant to what you've been chatting about here. So one of them is, do we have any partnerships with Kansas Works?
Oh, absolutely.
Okay.
Yes. I actually serve on a board called the Business Education Alliance. That's a partnership through USD 250 School District. And it's really a subcommittee of the Pittsburg Area Chamber of Commerce. Anyway, I could tell you a lot of stuff about that, but one of our counterparts at Kansas Works, she is on that board. She and I have been on that board for 15 years together. And so we have an informal partnership that way, but they send all of their, listings, et cetera, to us. Also, they're through the Kansas Department of Commerce. And so sometimes the folks out at Topeka will often come to our career fairs. They also host virtual career fairs through the Department of Commerce. And so they always send us information about that. And they are members of our state Career Services Association. So we partner with them that way as well. Yeah, we love the Kansas Works folks.
Super.
And if you don't know, I mean, they work locally with adults, typically adults who don't necessarily have a higher education, 4-year degree, a lot of manufacturing here locally and that sort of opportunity. But that's helpful to us because we can keep abreast of a lot of that kind of thing through those folks. So it's a great partnership.
Super. And then the other question, Mindy, is how difficult has it been for new graduates this year to finding jobs with COVID? Have you heard much back from them about challenges, difficulties?
Yes, it is kind of interesting because we don't see students a lot right now. It's very different. Right now, everybody's just kind of in a survival mode of this semester. Every Monday, we all say, I think campus-wide, okay, we're 1 week closer to November 20th. So we're going to make it and stay open and all of those things that have been the goal. Our doors are not open to students in career services. Everything's virtual. We're there. We went back in late July and August, but we don't have students coming in. So we don't have those just happenstance conversations. It has to be, scheduled conversations. Which of course we don't like, that we don't get to just chat it up with them in the resource center and at career fairs and those sorts of things. So it's a little harder for us to gauge, but clearly we also have other ways of finding these things out. And employers report to us, a lot of times who they're hiring. And then we also collect employment data from graduates. And so when we started collecting employment data from the May grads, we were a little nervous, and they just do that online, and it was like, oh, what are we going to see here? But actually they did pretty well. And the economy was very good in the spring. It was amazing. And so they actually did very well. And then we were pleased to see, and we're still in the midst of this, but our July grads have done pretty well. Again, this is data that we're collecting right now, and so it's nowhere indicative of the full class yet. We do a 6 to 8 month collection of that data, so we still have a lot of time on that project, but they're doing okay. Of course, as we went into April and May and June, we were seeing some internships were rescinded, internship offers. Kind of at first, they were rescinded, and then employers started figuring out, well, maybe we could have interns virtually, and they pushed back start dates for new grads kind of to August, But then of course they brought them on mostly virtually as well. But we've all figured out how to work virtually, and now I don't think it's as big a deal to think about hiring and just starting, start a new hire or a cohort of new hires in a larger corporate environment and start them virtually. People are figuring out how to do that. We have a lot of interaction with our national association called NACE, National Association of Colleges and Employers. And then we have our state association, which is the same for Kansas, and it includes the metro area of Kansas City. So there's Missouri folks too. And so it's employers as well. And then I also meet with the Kansas Board of Regents directors of career services. And in fact, we met this morning and we just provide a lot of feedback to each other. And today it was kind of a therapy session of, how's everybody doing? And everybody's doing okay. So we found with our national association, they did a ton of webinars, and they did a lot of quick quizzes, quick polls, where 1,500, 1,800 people would be on the webinar or do the polls. And so we got a lot of real-time excellent data that was very helpful to us, and opportunities to hear from employer panels. And what they did with all these webinars is they waived the fees. I mean, we're members, of course, but they have a lot of webinars with some, pretty nice fees on all kinds of topics. Well, they started waiving the fees for these, and that was very, very helpful to us. And so we got a lot of information and continue to. Maybe 3 weeks ago, there was one with employers. One was from IBM. One was from Ernst & Young accounting firm. And these were big, these were national recruiters. And then also from colleges, also really large colleges with like 30,000. So we can relate to some of it. We can't relate to having a staff of 45 people, but we're doing the best we can, but we're keeping up. So, and so I would say, across the board, we're hearing that employers are much more comfortable with that virtual environment and bringing students on. Now, there's some things that aren't going to work. And like, of course, the healthcare field went upside down. So you thought, oh, wow, nurses, everybody's going to need nurses. And then they had layoffs, right? And well, how's that work in a pandemic? So there's but then they ramped them back up. So that got kind of, that was kind of a mystery, and just a lot of things that continue to be a mystery. But, construction still goes on. And I think just each industry and field is sort of figuring it out. And of course, anybody that wants to work in the virtual background of things. For instance, I mentioned Handshake, where we have the job board and we post everything. Well, we started seeing, and by we, I mean nationally, career services started saying, oh, we got to do virtual career fairs. And so we started saying, hey, Handshake, do you have a career fair platform? And they said, no, we're not doing that. Well, about 3 weeks later, they made an announcement. Yeah, we're going to do that. I think we'll do virtual career fairs. Yeah, good idea, because every college across the land needed it. There's other companies that do it, but Handshake has exploded onto the scene, and they developed an amazing product in a hurry, and they have a lot of, and they're offering it for free. They won't forever, but they're building a clientele that way. And so think of the people that they hired to do that. They bulked up their staff, I'm sure. So anyone in social media and graphics and photography and videography and things like that, there's certainly a market for all of that right now as everybody's online. So it's interesting to watch that change. And that's my really long answer to the question that I don't even remember. So I hope I answered the question.
You did. Thank you.
Thank you, John. No, I'm happy to. That's great. We do mock interviews with students. Of course, right now we're doing them virtually, and that's good because they need to experience it like this. So usually we would do it in this room that you see, and we would offer Skype interviews if they wanted, which was a big deal. Well, of course, now everything's virtual. So that's one of our sponsor rooms, Kiewit, of course. we really appreciate their sponsorship. So when we do our presentations and all kinds of things, we have an entire one on interviewing skills and that we teach in our class as well. So this is one of the slides, and I just thought it was kind of fun because, oh, there's all kinds of different types of interviews, and you see that one says Skype, you know, oh, big deal. Well, of course, now all interviews are over Zoom for the most part. There are some phone interviews, so we kind of are getting a kick out of it. Yeah, you're not going to be shaking hands with anyone or anything like this in quite a while. So we've kind of chuckled about that. But now what we're doing, of course, is talking with people about how to prepare for a virtual interview. And we like that they're able to do mock interviews, that we are able to offer that because it's the real thing, it's the real space. So we talk with them about, you know, your background, which I tidied up my home office a little bit. I don't know how to make myself not be blue, but if I was interviewing, I would go somewhere else to do that. I would be at my office, but it's nighttime, and they're part of what you would see of me. There's lights that have motion sensors. And so those lights would go off and I can't reach them. So then I would have been in the dark and you would have really wondered about me there. So I'm blue instead. But we talk with them about those kinds of things. You've got to think about what that looks like. Click on Zoom, practice and see what that's going to look like. We have on campus, we have teams. And so students can get on that and they can practice with each other or with us to see what they'll look like. And right now I've got my dog locked up in my bedroom, and if my phone rings, I'll have to mute because I don't know how to, we got a landline, but so those are important things to know. And so we teach students about that, try to train them on that. We do tell them to wear pants. Anybody, you would think that you wouldn't maybe need to wear pants, but employers have told us that we should be telling them to wear pants because you never know what might happen in an actual interview. And apparently there have been some crises, not with Pitt State students that we've heard, but others. So it's important to dress the part and look the part. And we've always told students that even for phone interviews, that they should not be in their jammies because you feel more professional and your voice inflection and energy and everything is going to be different than if you're in your jammies, and you'll make a better impression. So those kinds of things have been interesting. And we tell them to keep your sense of humor because employers have a pretty good sense of humor about it. They're all home as well. They see the cat walk across with the tail and all those sorts of things, and we're all used to it now, and the kids and all of that. We've been back, like I said, for a couple of months, so I'm missing my coworkers' children who would pop in on our staff meetings and stuff, and now I miss them. So they might expect that might happen to the employer. So you might just see a little bit of everything. So we just try to work with students to learn all of that type of thing. We had the last large event at Pittsburg State. It was on March 12th. We had Spring Career Day. If it had been March 13th, it would not have happened. And we figured that out about the Thursday before because COVID was barreling down, and it was like, oh my goodness, I think, you know, if we don't have this thing in a hurry, it's not going to happen. So fortunately, it did happen. We had enough people there. Let me see what my next slide is. I think, yes. So this is what our career fair usually looks like. We have Fall Career Expo, Spring Career Day, Teacher Interview Day looks a little different than this, and Meet the Ferns Day is much smaller. But our two large fall and spring fairs, this is the new Placer Center, in case you're not familiar with that. You can see the indoor football practice field on the left. And yes, sometimes they do practice during our fair, but you can't even hear them because it's so large. And then of course the national championship worthy track where cross country or not cross country, but field events and track events, we do host the national championships for Division II. So it's an amazing facility. We're really sad to not be there this fall, but we were there on March 12th. That was the day, about that time they announced that Tom Hanks had COVID. Remember that? This was the day that NCAA announced there would be no March Madness. So you can imagine what this event was like. I mean, there was just information just coming at us. And we had signs that said no handshake zone, you know, with the circle with the line through it, but nobody was even talking about masks yet or anything like that. So we were so happy that we could have that event. Of course, we had a number of employers that began, you know, the dominoes began falling, the house of cards, because employers said our companies are not going to let us travel. And, but we still had well over 100 companies. I don't remember, 115 or 116, something like that. Usually we'll have about 165 companies. So it was quite an experience. And we knew pretty promptly that we were probably going to have a virtual fall fair. And that was just unbelievable to think about. But again, I mentioned NACE and Casey, our National Association, Kansas Association, the regions directors. We just began to meet, and the NACE national poll by May, 87% of the colleges, and I think there were 1,500 colleges on that call, on that webinar. Out of 1,500, 87% said it'll be virtual in the fall. So we just made that decision right then because it's too critical for our students. They have to have these interactions with employers. So if we rolled the dice and had thought maybe we could have an on-campus fair, we couldn't take that chance. And when it came to the date, October 22nd, I don't remember, we were right. We would not have been allowed to have that large event. So thankfully we were well prepared for a virtual fair. And so this is what Spring Career Day looked like. This is what Fall Career Expo looked like. Here's our staff on the computer in our little matching shirts. And the graphic down below is a room called Wonder. And we discovered that. So the virtual fair, students are actually signing up for like a 10-minute slot with employers in case you're not sure what a virtual career fair is. And so we are physically moving them and that sort of thing. This one, Career Fair Plus, was the platform that did that fair. And so they do the behind the scenes, but we're kind of there. It's very odd as we're just sitting at our desks. So we went with Wonder to this little room, and what you see down below, you can see the bubbles, and that's us. And then as employers come in, they can bring their little bubble into our bubble, and then you see each other at the top and you can converse. So we set it up as an employer help desk, student help desk, and then you're not seeing the whole thing here, but we had the 4 colleges represented. So arts and science, business, education, and technology. So an employer could kind of go to that space, and then like the dean might be there, or any faculty. So we kind of learned it this time, and we expect that to grow in the fall. And it was actually really fun. We loved it. So we'll try to get more students there as well, where it can be a networking spot for them. So if they're not signed up to meet with that employee, particular employers, they have that opportunity to just collide with them in this really cool thing called Wonder. So that was kind of fun, and we got a big kick out of that. So usually we all wear our Fitbits, and we have, tens of thousands of steps the day that we set up the fair. You can see all this pipe and drape and everything. I mean, you can imagine what it's like setting all of that up. On the other side of the track is the luncheon that we set up as well. And then when the fair's over, we tear it all down. So we always are just, our feet are killing us. Well, this fair, we just sat at our desks, and so we felt really lazy, but it worked. And there were 700 sessions, these 10-minute sessions. We had about 100 companies. We were delighted, and 275 students, which is much lower than what we would typically have, but they came and they did it, and we had these 700 sessions, and students are getting interviews and progressing. So we, just could not be happier with how that's going. So I mentioned Career Fair Plus. They also have an app that we've actually used for the last couple of years, and that's really handy for students. They can They can peruse all the companies that are coming and filter it by their major and those sorts of things. So we always show this graphic when we're presenting and tell students, you know, go to as many career fairs as you can. You need to be going to them as a sophomore. You don't wait till you're a senior to go to a career fair. You start building those relationships, figuring out, you know, what it's like to network a fair. It's your 30-second sales pitch and all of that sort of thing. So we do a lot. Like I said, for interviewing and career fair, we spend a lot of time teaching them not only in classrooms, but we have all kinds of social media messages that we put out to them. And we have tables out on the Oval or the plaza outside of Horace Mann and the Student Center leading up to the fairs where we can communicate with them a lot. Students come into the clothes closet. So again, not happening right now, but we are still able to communicate with them in a lot of ways. So, and we've got a lot of great faculty that incorporate this into their classes, and they visit with them as well. And we send out, you know, emails to all the faculty and to all students. And so it's definitely a campus-wide event. It's considered an academic event, not a student life event. And this is part of our academic mission. Core mission to the university. So we're very proud to be a part of that. I'll take a breath and then I'll tell you, and I'm going to wrap up here pretty quick, but something we can't do for a while is really one of our favorite events. And again, it's something that's unique kind of for Pittsburg State. We've been doing this for years. We think it's important, and that is our Etiquette Dinner. So some of you will recognize my son. As you can see, it's 2010. He doesn't eat like that anymore, at least not in public. But that was a stage photo. But that's Hank, who went on to become a Student Government Association president at Pitt State. And so he learned his manners. The boys learned their manners at home. And honestly, they learned them from their dad, whose sister is on here, but I don't know what happened at their house. But I mean, my husband is a stickler for manners at the table, big time. And it is important. And what we've learned is that, you know, with working mothers and organized team sports and all of those types of things, you know, at a young age, families don't eat around the table like they used to. They eat at concession stands and they eat on the road to ball games and dance recitals and all kinds of things like that. So we found it to be important, and we talk with them about not just manners, but we talk with them mainly about a dining situation and an interview. And so we call it a professional dining situation with strangers. So that can be pretty intimidating and nerve-wracking, and that can still happen when they are ready to be invited to the corporation or whatever it is. You know, it could be well, I was going to say a hospital, not right now. You're not going into the hospital, but anywhere that you might be interviewing. They may bring you in for a full day interview, and so they're going to feed you lunch. And so we want students to be comfortable with that. We want them to understand the importance of being a little polished at that. And also we prepare them. You know, what happens if they serve something that you're allergic to or something you don't like, or you spill something. So those are the types of things that we talk about at Etiquette Dinners. And it's a blast. Again, we have about 170 students. This is a smaller one, but we use all three ballrooms in the new ballrooms in the Student Center. And one of the things that we talk about is cell phone etiquette. So just so that you know, we try to talk to them about everything, because we all love that. You're right in the middle of a big story, and then somebody's phone pings, and they give you the finger, this finger, not the other finger. And then, you know, how rude is that? Because you thought your story was pretty great, and all of a sudden, nope, my phone is way more important than the person in person. And so of course we tell them, don't even take your phone into an interview, my gosh. And we try to teach them just some general etiquette, because the rules to phone etiquette are not completely written yet. So, so we try to cover several things in that dinner, and they have a pretty good time. And John has assisted us with those many times, and we partnered with Alumni, and they bring prizes, and that's how we hold them till the end. And we appreciate that, John. And so that's a really fun thing that we do. Last topic, just so that you kind of know, we do talk about social media and building your personal brand and the importance of your online presence. Very quickly, won't read all of this to you, but this Career Builder survey in 2018, and we used to show the 2016. Every year the percentages go up, but we just started impressing upon them that employers look at your social media. They can do it. It's legal for them to do it. Anything you put out there. You may think your privacies are tight, but we all know that they change at times and all of that sort of thing. But we also teach them, you know, here it says 57% of employers found a reason to not hire you. So these are pretty obvious, you know, photographs that are inappropriate, 40% aren't going to hire you. 36% said, you know, photos of you drinking. Okay, so kids know that. But, you know, more important than ever, and we've been showing this slide since 2018, discriminatory comments about race, religion, gender, you know, and we always tell them, not only don't put it on your social media, but just don't do it. I mean, be a good person. So we kind of have an opportunity to impress on students a little bit that, you know, don't be that person. Criminal behavior, of course, is kind of tricky. And then just straight up lied about their qualifications. So we teach them that employers are looking at your social media to just kind of confirm that your resume, you know, is all that you say that you are and that sort of thing. It's just another source for them. But we talk about utilizing social media to build your brand. You can put a lot of positive propaganda out about yourself as a young person, and also thinking about that from the beginning. Don't bash your employer. I always say, you know, if you work at Blockbuster, because Blockbuster doesn't exist anymore. So you work at Blockbuster and it's lame and you don't like it and this job sucks. And, you know, and so kids want to put stuff like that on their social media. So what I tell them is, hey, I hire students to work in my office, and I'm used to students, and I'm used to purple hair and pajama pants in the middle of the day at campus, and tattoos, and we're used to a lot of stuff we see every day. We don't let our student employees dress in pajama pants, but I'm used to all that sort of thing. But if you are willing to bash your company, whoever it is, even if it's Blockbuster, on your social media, I am not going to hire you and take that chance that you will be willing to bash Pittsburg State University or Career Services or et cetera. So I'm going to take that chance. So we think it's a good way for students to begin to, you know, kind of realize that they need to be careful about a lot of things right now. And so you have a chance to read all of that, but a lot of things that they can do that helps build a positive brand for them and can help them, you know, along the way. So, so I will stop my share there. I guess I could lay that up for a moment if you want my information. So Spring Career Day, what can you do as alumni and or questions you might have? Spring Career Day will be March 16th, 2021. It'll be here before we know it. It will be virtual. It'll be from 10 to 2. If you can encourage, you know, somebody from your company to attend, we would love that. Or if you are somebody that might attend, you can post positions on Gorillas for Hire, a lot of things that you can do to help students. And if you ever think that you might like to be a guest speaker in one of our classes or another more like a content class for faculty, let us know. We are bringing in a lot more guest speakers right now. In our career exploration class, we typically would tour a couple of companies and then we have guest speakers. Well, this time it all had to be guest speakers, but a really cool thing is that they can be from anywhere. And we usually, for career exploration, we get to know our students a little bit and then we start asking them what they're interested in majoring in and doing. They're trying to, you know, determine their major mostly in that class. And so then we select speakers that fit that. This semester, for the first time ever, I had 2 students that were interested in being realtors, real estate agents, and they were for real, very interested in that. Well, my brother is a real estate agent and he's on this call, Stan, and I was like, you know, I mean, I know lots of real estate agents in Pittsburgh, which is not to disparage them. They're great people, but I thought, well, this is a fun opportunity for Stan to come in and speak to a class. And he has taught accounting courses before in Bartlesville. And so he attended my class virtually, and that was a treat for me, and I think for him, and students got great information, and I learned a ton of stuff. So if that's something that interests you, you might just share with us what you think your topic would be, or if you have some, you know, they don't have to be a Pitt State grad by any means. We have the police department come most semesters, and they'll bring a police officer, they'll bring a social worker, they bring their dispatch coordinator. Sometimes it was the person that does the bookkeeping, record keeping, all kinds of different people, and then their HR person, so we can kill a lot of birds with that one stone. So if you have anybody that you think would enjoy speaking to a class and you want to share their information with me, we can pass that along to faculty, or we might utilize them in our classes. So we always appreciate that expertise. And it's kind of that thing, you know, where your parents tell the kid something, and then the kid comes home from school and says, hey, my teacher said today, blah, blah, blah. And you're like, saying that for like 10 years, or their coach tells them something, right? Or their youth pastor. It's the same for us on campus. So the faculty brings us in. Can you relate to that, Dawn? Faculty bring us in, and they say, you know, because they'll listen to career services, they don't listen to faculty. Well, we all bring faculty in for the same reason, and we bring employers in, and that definitely lends a lot of credibility. So, you know, if we're all consistent with our message, you know, then eventually students go, maybe these adults know what they're talking about, and they begin to take heed. Maybe not, right, John? John's an academic advisor, so we love them.
Can you repeat what time that was on the 16th of March?
Absolutely, 10 to 2, 10 o'clock to 2 o'clock. We just stuck with our same time, and we can kind of help build schedules. Employers can build in their own breaks, as much time as they want for lunch. So you have some flexibility on your end, for sure. Shannon, it's so nice to see you.
Mindy, a couple of other questions that came through earlier.
Yes, John, go for it.
One of them was, let's see, let me go back up and find it.
Oh, I can probably find it too now that I'm off.
What is
you guys have been chatting up a storm.
Oh, we have.
Has everybody been saying, I wonder if Mindy's ever going to stop talking?
No, not at all. What is the largest new demand industry looking for employees, especially considering the pandemic? They might be looking for some new teachers next year.
Teachers, you're exactly right, John. That's exactly right. Education. That's been a problem for a while. Our friends, my family that's on here from Oklahoma, I mean, it's tough to get students to teach. And we talk with superintendents and educators that come to teacher interview day, which we hold in the spring. It will also be virtual. For our regular career fairs, we have a come and go luncheon, you know, it's just buffet, and so we're on the other side of the track. But for teacher interview day, we set them down at the luncheon, because it's all scheduled interviews throughout the day. And our president, Dr. Scott, is a former school teacher, and our provost now, Howard Smith, is a former superintendent of schools. And so they're both former deans of the College of Ed. So they know these superintendents. So it's really fun. And Dr. Bryant was as well. So when he was president, so we speak to them as a group. And a few years ago, we started talking to them about, you know, they're saying, where are all the candidates? And we're saying, well, you know, teachers are striking and petitioning out on the steps of the Capitol. And the kids know this, and so it doesn't look like a very appealing field to go into. And so help us help you. And, you know, really around middle school age is where students begin to form their ideas, particularly about that, because they interact with teachers every day. They don't know about other careers necessarily, but they know about teaching. So it's not to scold and say teachers are modeling poor behavior. I don't mean that, but that's why we were saying to superintendents, we're like, get it worked out so teachers will stop striking and kids will start thinking that it's a worthy career. And the teachers that were striking think it's a worthy career as well. But it was taking a toll on new candidates coming into the teacher ed program. So, so now, again, all in the media with COVID, and nobody's got a good solution. New York City is going to shut down their schools. So teaching is definitely the field that they just need as many teachers as they can get going into the program. Other things that I did mention, media, social media, anyone that can do any of that sort of thing, building brands, building social media, that's where we're at. And obviously, if you have the technology, IT, and that sort of thing. But we see a lot of increase in all kinds of jobs because of virtual opportunities. And so it's changing the face of work for all of us. I was telling my counterparts at the Regent schools today, and in case you don't know, the Regent schools are like KU, K-State, Wichita State, Fort Hays, and Emporia, and Washburn. Washburn's a little different, but they're kind of a Regent school. And there's several, because like KU has 3 career services, business, engineering. They have separate where we do it all, K-State as well. So there's several of us on there, but I was telling them, we were talking about how people work remotely now and that sort of thing. Well, over a year ago, I chaired the Flex Schedule Task Force for Pittsburg State University. And this was a 9-month, 16-member task force. It was President's Council. I met with the president, and I met with every deans and chairs cohort, and we really had in all the Senate, faculty Senate, classified staff Senate, et cetera. And we really had to educate people to what it would be like to work remotely and to supervise people that are working remotely. It's really, really big deal. But we needed a policy because some people were doing it. And also some people were doing kind of flex schedule, with around kids' sports schedules or whatever. Or someone that was maybe ill was working from home. And supervisors were signing off on it, but we didn't really have a policy. So we got all that done, and we got the form written, and we got it all approved by President's Council, and we managed a lot of kind of raw emotions. And you can't mow the lawn from home. So there's some people that, and I'm not saying the guys that mow the lawn, they know that they were fine, but there were some people that would say, well, I'm not going to be able to work from home. Well, that's true. So big deal, 9 months, and then all of a sudden, one day, everybody went home and started working remotely, and we all filled out the form, and guess what? Everybody can do it except the guys that mow the lawn and paint the walls and a few things, but they went home as well, and they're wonderful people. But we figured out, and of course, everyone around the world figured out, we got to work remote. So we make it work. So it is changing industries, and it is fascinating. So stay tuned. And of course, I love to study the generations, and people call them millennials. By the way, college students are not millennials. Some could be, but millennials are mostly in their 30s now. But Gen Z, Generation Z, they're very different actually from millennials. It's going to be fascinating to see how they shift in the world of work. And I've been saying that for a while because the baby boomers are exiting, of course, en masse now. And there's not enough Gen Xers, and I'm a borderline baby boomer, but I'm also Gen Xer, to backfill all the management level. And so millennials are getting sort of thrust into management level, and that's changing things as well. And then this, so then when Gen Z comes in and everybody's working remote, it's going to be very, very interesting to watch the world of work. So I think it's fascinating. I think you'll see some really interesting, pretty major shifts coming. There's a lot of things written about that. One of the things that we like to say is that we instead of saying due to COVID, we're doing blah, blah, blah. We like to say, despite of COVID, we're able to do this. And I hope that's something we can instill in our students and that young workforce as they enter the workforce will think that way. Despite of COVID, despite COVID, we're able to do a lot of things. And I'm sure you all are as well in your industries. So, Stan, I mean, there at first people were like, oh, there'll be no selling houses. People aren't going to let people in their houses that they don't know. And people aren't going to want to go into houses. But they're doing it, and actually real estate market's pretty good. Who knew? But they're figuring it
There are
out.
definitely silver linings, I think, to, you know, what we're facing. I mean, we have found this is probably the 10th or 11th virtual Gorilla Gathering that we've done this fall semester. And, you know, we are finding that close to 50% of the people who are logging on to meet with us and to hear from our faculty and staff are individuals who have never been involved with alumni activities ever before in the past. So, you know, that's something we're pretty excited about. We'd rather be seeing people in person, but unfortunately, I'm not going to make it to Washington anytime soon to meet Shannon. Although I love Washington, it's a beautiful state, but that's just not in the cards or in the budget typically. But but we're able to have her here tonight, so that's a definite positive.
Awesome.
One other
John,
question.
thank you. Yeah, are there more questions?
Of course.
Sure.
One other question that was asked earlier, Mindy, was, so obviously you are doing your career counseling and things virtually. The question was asked, what platform are you using for that?
Oh, sure. So we have Teams on campus, and so students have access to Teams, but we give them the option of Teams or Zoom. That's pretty much what we use. If they ask us to use a different platform, we will, but for the most part, it's Teams or Zoom. They use Zoom through Canvas, which is our campus, you know, gradebook manager. There's a word for it. I just lost it, or a couple of words for it. But so they're very accustomed to using Zoom to attend their classes. That's how they attend virtual classes.
Great.
Yeah, good.
Are there other questions that anyone would like to ask?
Oh boy.
Yeah, I have a question. As far as like looking for people to be, you know, guest speakers or mentors or whatever, how would you like just send you my email or?
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, if you're interested, we can connect that way, or that'd be perfect. I'm on LinkedIn as well, of course, but yeah, just email me and give me a little idea of what you would be willing to talk about, and that would be great. Okay. I know that John, we've talked about a formal mentor program on campus for many years, and it is a very difficult thing to just coordinate, and that was coming, and then but COVID came. So but someday we'll get there, and COVID actually may make it a little bit easier to get there, where now people could meet virtually, but it's certainly not a priority quite yet. So we are hoping to see a mentoring kind of program eventually, but for now I would say it would be speakers. In our class, also in career exploration, we require informational interviews, where a student interviews a professional that in a field that they're interested in. Sure. And so a lot of times they have no idea who to interview, and so we kind of have a little database of who we would refer them to, and so we can put you in there as well. And that's just a one-on-one. Yeah, so it'd be awesome. Yeah.
And I'll send a follow-up email out probably tomorrow. This will include a link to the website for Mindy's office, as well as Mindy's contact information. So if anybody on this call would like to reach out to her, in fact, I'm writing it on my notes right now.
Perfect, John. Thank you.
Yeah. So we'll include that tomorrow, and we'll also include information about, and this will be the second time you're getting this, Dawn, but information about our office and the different things that we offer as the Alumni Association to our graduates, and you know, just so many different resources that are out there that I could talk another 30 minutes about it, but we'll send you the link and we'll let you check it out on your own. So great questions.
Do we want to answer Creed's last question? Yeah.
Yeah, absolutely.
You want to take that one, John? Or
sure. So his career service has been able to help PSU faculty better adapt or prepare for the virtual classroom format.
So really that CTLT, we've got a department, the Center for Teaching, Learning, and Technology, CTLT, something like that. And that's been a department for a number of years, and they assist faculty with all kinds of beyond just technology, but that's a big part of what they do. And so, man, they had to really ramp up when this came. We had that 2-week spring break. The students got a 2-week spring break. The faculty got no spring break, which was fine, and went into intense training with CTLT. Some faculty had already been teaching online, and so they got the break. But if they didn't, I mean, a lot of faculty were having a crash course at that time, and so that's how they're trained for that. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Great people there. Susan Delasega heads that up. She's awesome.
Many people on campus who have done a lot of pivots and a lot of training, and these last 8 or 9 months, pretty incredible, really.
And if I know we kind of touched on it, our students will all go home tomorrow. Next week they get fall break. Many of us will take a fall break as well, but our offices are open Monday and Tuesday. The university is giving us a holiday Wednesday that we haven't had before, kind of rewarding us for effort, and that is greatly appreciated. But students will get the full break. They didn't get, I know, it's awesome. Our President's Council, they're phenomenal. And so we did not give students fall break in October like we typically do. As you can imagine, we didn't want them out and coming back, bringing stuff to us. So they will get that next week. And then the 2 weeks following that will be Dead Week and Finals Week. They'll do all of that online and will not be on campus, but we'll still be open. We're open till December 23rd. And then we'll be closed until January 4th, something like that. So just so you guys kind of know what's happening on campus. And again, like we said, commencement tomorrow, and it's just all kind of fast backwards. Yeah. It's a little crazy, but Dr. Smith and Dr. Scott, our president and provost, say, what hasn't changed? Let's talk about what hasn't changed and what we can still do, what we've been able to do. And to be open this fall is, we're just as grateful as we could possibly be. We feel like tomorrow everybody's going to be given the touchdown sign because it's like we've made it. And our students have done a great job of doing the things they need to do. And we really have, right now we have, and it's public knowledge, it's on our website, I think. How many cases do we have? Somebody help me. It's
on campus or
on campus, not the community. Community is a different story. Yeah. But it's like 15, I think.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
It's very low. Yeah. So kudos to our students. They've done a great job, and faculty and staff. It's very low. So they report it to us weekly, and they've done a fantastic job. So I'm really proud of them. John, did I give you time to?
No, yeah, we're great. We're great. And
thank you. Thank you so much, everybody.
Absolutely. Appreciate Mindy being here this evening and hearing what her office does, and
my pleasure.
So much has changed even in the last 20 years since I was a student. Well, it was long. Okay, I'm trying to make myself. It's longer than 20 years ago, but yeah, a lot has changed.
Come on, John.
even if you're a recent graduate, I think people are surprised to hear, how much has changed in 5 years, let alone 20 years. So Mindy's doing great things, and she's got a great staff. So we're excited to be able to share that. And we recorded this, and so we'll put it out there, and we'll send a link out to everyone on this call. So certainly if you have anyone that you think would benefit from hearing this discussion this evening, we would certainly invite you to share that as well. So